What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Liam Murphy here. Going to talk about NFL Week 8, DFS, NFL, drafts, all that jazz. Don't have a write-up on the site yet. So we're doing this live. Probably come up with some takes. Haven't really looked at the slate yet. Let's look at it together. Have some thoughts, but we'll probably get a little write-up on the site. I asked yesterday or Thursday, yesterday, and most people said they prefer me providing just a write-up of the slate versus rankings for the daily draft, so that's what we'll do. Anyways, interesting slate. What I like to look at is Fantasy Labs for the spreads. Find this the best way. So it's a slate where we're getting some news. Okay, Jets, Bengals. My God, man, this game. It's a game. We got, of course, Joe Flacco, and then maybe Tyrod, maybe Fields. Don't know the latest Brees news. I do know Garrett Wilson. I do know Sauce is out. Bills, Panthers. Definitely have some takes for Bills, Panthers. I think a lot of people are going to say things like, Chad, you want the light on? We got the light on, man. Did I lose my last survivor? I did not. So we'll look at that too. Went with the Patriots last week, so we're live. Bills, Panthers. I think you're going to, like I'm already seeing tweets online. People are being like, the Bills defense sucks against the run. The Panthers are good run defense. Okay, this spread is almost 7 points. Andy Dalton's playing. And what's key for the Bills is two of their big free agent sightings were Michael Hulk, kind of this like quasi D end from the Rams last year, and then Larry Ogunjobi, something like that. Anyways, underrated D tackle from the Steelers. And both those guys got popped for, I think, PEDs, and both are getting unsuspended this week. So Bills are going to get those two guys back. They still have guys like Daquan Jones, who's like their one tech D tackle out, I think. Matt Milano may or may not play. Their first-round corner may or not play. But the point is they're getting at least two D linemen back this week, and maybe that changes the run. They also put Taylor Rapp, who's like their safety, who like he must be injured, man. He was not this bad last year, and he's been brutal. So I think it's a big addition by subtraction that he's going on IR. 49ers, Texans. No Purdy again here. Kittle, another week healthy. And then the big thing is how are the Texans favored in this one? Because I believe it's going to be no Nico and no Kirk. This one kind of feels like the Chargers game where I was like, how is that a 3-point spread? But okay, 49ers got a lot of injuries of their own. Eagles, they're going to be without A.J. Brown. Pretty big one there. I believe Darius Slayton's going to be back. Pats, Browns, nothing notable. The Pats are favored. Ravens, Bears. So, I think Lamar is certainly playing, but I guess he could not. And then could this be the Colston Loveland game? Ravens defense, not that good. Now they are post-bye. Maybe they're getting a little bit better post-bye. And the big thing is like no Cole Kmet for the Bears, so no Roshan Johnson either. Swift may or may not play. But Colston Loveland, like Kincaid had a good game against the Ravens. A lot of tight ends have. Falcons, Dolphins. I think Jalen Waddle has like double hamstring injuries, but I think he's going to play. And apparently Jalen Wright's going to be involved there, whatever that means. But I didn't think Michael Penix was going to play with a bone bruise. And honestly, Kirk Cousins might just be better than him now that he's fully healed from his Achilles. But I believe the latest I saw is Penix is going to give it a go. And Darnell Mooney's going to play. Bucks Saints. I mean, whatever on this game. Saints, Chris Olave, he's gonna play. But the real thing is like, if the Saints are trading Rashid Shaheed and or Olave, which I don't think they should, but they could, why would you play them this week, right? Like, if you're trading these guys, why would you play them? Cowboys, Broncos. Kind of surprised that the Broncos are. I mean, it's not like it's at the Broncos, so 3.5 points, not a big deal there. But yeah, a little surprised they're dogs. Apparently, Broncos are trying to buy wideouts. Colts are 31-point favored. Packer, and then yeah, okay, that's the main slate. Keon Coleman. I mean, look, dude. The truth is, I didn't really think Keon Coleman was going to have 1,500 yards, right? Like I tweeted that fun what if, and then he had a great week 1. So of course I was saying that. But what do I think happened to him? I think he's had some bad weeks, and he's a boom bust guy, and he's totally fine, right? Like, people trying to be like, oh, I can't believe you drafted Keon Coleman. Like, are they? I think people have a really bad memory of players that were actually drafted. Because let me just pull up a draft board from, let's call it July or early August. Let's go early August here. Okay, 8-4. 8-4 here. So I don't think people understand the players going around Keon. Keon is totally fine at his cost. He's gonna have some games. He's running routes. Okay. I took Keon at the 9th round of pick 102. Clearly, there were some better picks here. There's Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp doing nothing, Luther Burden doing nothing, Jaden Higgins, more expensive, awful. Trey Harris, terrible. Rashad Bateman, terrible. Christian Kirk, terrible. Mims, terrible. Kyle Williams used to be more expensive than Keon Coleman. So I don't get the, like, I get that I have haters. A lot of people are just, not that smart and nuanced and or miserable. But Keon Coleman is an objectively fine pick, right? Like, who's the guys who you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have this guy? Yeah, okay, Michael Pittman is a good pick. Still, it's like, dude, it's Michael Pittman. Tyler Warren was a good pick. He's a tight end. There's a bunch of good tight end picks this year. Cam Scatabo ran nice on injury. He's a fine pick, but it's the Giants offense. It's the 9th round. There really weren't that many picks. I'm not panicking on my Keon Coleman 9th round shares. People don't understand the game of best ball. He's going to have a bunch of fine games, right? And probably pay off in best ball. Who's not paying off at all? Kyle Williams, probably, right? Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden can pay off too. Josh Downs is not paying off. I think he can too. Chris Godwin, like that one, I'd be legit panicked on. And, we're not Juwan Jennings, right? Like Jerry Jeudy. There is a lot of picks that are not really paying off costs. So I think Keon will be fine, right? Newsflash, wide receivers are not going to smash every single week. And the real winner there is Dalton Kincaid, right? So I just knew that the Bills passing game was significantly undervalued. And yeah, I think it's Kincaid. And obviously, Josh Allen's going to throw touchdowns. Now, the Bills might trade for someone, and that might hurt Keon, but they might not as well. Like, if they trade for, because Josh Palmer is hurt now. So if they trade for, I don't know, like Tim Patrick, you know what I mean? Or like Gabe Davis. But if like Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave lands there, that's probably going to hurt. Or maybe it helps because it takes some off Keon's plate. Anyways, let's get to some drafts here. I believe this is tight end week, and it may sound stupid, but that tends to matter. That tends to matter in the NFL. And there's a lot of tight ends in some good spots. Now, really for this slate, it's about the running backs. And specifically, JT, Bijan, CMC, of course. But like, okay, just looking at these rankings right now, These are just market rankings. Henry, yeah, I get Lamar is back, but like Henry himself looks worse. So I'm not going to be, I don't think I would rather have Henry than these 3 running backs or CD Lamb. So I'm just always going to probably be lower on Boom Bust Henry when he's super expensive, right? But like it is such a big tier to not get JT, not get Bijan, etc. in these draft games that you should be getting weird when you don't. There's a bunch of tight ends in a good spot, right? Like George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid. Let's just get in some drafts, man. My survivor, I got 1 survivor left. Let's see what I want to do there. I thought about going Chargers, but I'm just inherently against. Man, and so unlucky that like the Broncos, man. These guys who survived with the Broncos, a bummer. Okay, so one team that's kind of tempting is the Falcons. Let's pull back up the spreads. Falcons, obviously not that great a team, in a good spot, though. Let's see. Falcons coming in at, an 8 in at 1.5 plus 6, a 7.5 point favorite. That's massive. So Falcons feel really good. Okay, Bengals, Jets. My God. The Bengals with Joe Flacco coming in at 6-point favorites. That feels good. What other kind of bad teams do I have left to pick from? Those would be, I would probably go there, right? Like if you're just trying to pick a winner and move on, I think you go the Bills this week. By the way, I have not said that every week. Like when the Bills played the Patriots, a lot of people went there, and I was like, I wouldn't do that because I knew they could lose. It's hard for me to see them losing to the Panthers off by getting some reinforcements injury-wise. My teams I've used the Broncos already. This is just a regular battle royale. Sure, we'll go CMC. I've used the Texans, which is a nice team to be done with. I've used the Colts, who obviously looks a lot better than we knew. I've used the Patriots. Let's just look at the entry, I guess. I've used the Cardinals, which feels like a nice team. I've used the Raiders, which feels like a great team. I've used the Patriots, which the Patriots are going to lose games still. They're not going to just be like a juggernaut. So I think I'll go Falcons for now, but like some possibility I switch it to the Bengals. And I have not, but pretty soon here, like I kind of want to roughly try to map out my schedule. So yeah, I'll go the Falcons. I just think that like the Jets could somehow win. You know, Joe Flacco falls back down to earth. You burn the Bills. And it depends what you're doing, right? Like this is the $2.5 million splash sport thing here with, let's see. Let's make a pick here. Why not? We'll go Josh Allen. Trying to see how many people are left. I don't know why I'm being so stupid about this right now. Okay. 3,700. And we could have lost another 500 if the damn Giants could have just held on. We just went with the Falcons, so we'll go. Then we're waiting on a bunch for the Dog Bowl. Yeah, that's why the Bengals seems like a kind of a good pick, because it's like Sauce is out, Garrett Wilson is out. So like, yeah, that's pretty notable that you're facing a bad Jets team without their two best players, arguably. However, it is the Joe Flacco-led Bengals, and using the Bengals might not be that valuable because Joe Burrow might return by week 12, week 13, week 14. So it's like, maybe I could just save the Bengals for then, And you don't have to use every team. I just think the Falcons are a team that you'll probably never feel great about. And this is the Buy-Mageddon week. Because it's like, okay, after this, Patriots no, Colts no, Panthers. It's like, yeah, maybe, but probably not. Saints. Again, it's a division opponent. It's like, probably. Jets. It's like, yeah, probably. So, I don't know. The Dolphins right now, having just been slacked by... Let's go Zay. We'll do the Zay without Lamar team. Hope to grab Kincaid next. Bengals schedule. So they play the Dolphins week 16. So like maybe that's when I would use them, Atlanta's at home. Bengals are on the road too, just coming off an emotional win. I don't know. I could see the Falcons losing too, and I almost would rather Kirk Cousins play. But I'm just hoping that like Bijan can get it done. Kind of. And the Falcons D. All right, who's some good scroll down guys? Now, for the Battle Royale, which this is going to be the 6-person drafts, only 36 picks are made. Going to be quite a bit. Looking like Waddle is, Diggs is, Wan'Dale Robinson I like quite a bit. Then you got the Bills wideouts. They are a scroll down candidate like every week. Shakir, Keon, etc. Don't know if you don't want to be doubling that. You can double. Alec Pierce is a pretty good scroll. You got guys like Woody Marks. You got guys like Ramondre. Rico Dowdle, he's reasonable. I think he'll be overdone. Who did I want to do? Let's do Alec Pierce. Huge point total. Coming off a 10-target game. He's had some good games here. And he's the same thing as Rashid Shaheed, Jameson Williams, that kind of mold. The kind of guys who can just win you the contest. I'm not too worried about getting different right now, Nitty. As far as going with I can't use Atlanta because a lot of people are using Atlanta. Because, like, just looking through a lot of these entrants, like, week 11 in this contest, you have to start double picking teams. And, like, these lineups use the Chiefs. These lineups use the Bills, right? So, like, these lineups use the Commanders. These lineups use the Packers. So, like, these lineups use the Lions. There's going to be so many of these types of lineups in this contest where my kind of plan is to try to get through the single pick weeks, week 8, 9, 10, with teams that are not elite teams. And then week 11 is when I try to start getting a little bit safer. I start trying to get like the Bills, and maybe I go Bills and Chiefs one week. Maybe like I just try to get through the week at that point, and I don't worry as much about the game theory because it's hard to pick two teams that win, especially if you're burning good teams early, right? Would love if I had multiple teams left, but yeah. A disaster week for me, week 5, where I went all in on Dolphins, Giants, and it was working, man. They were both winning in the first quarter and then fell apart. And it would have been valuable to get through these kind of teams, right? Let me know who's your guys' favorite scroll downs. I want to get some of these dog bowls going because the 12 teams are different. I think honestly, Mike McDaniel would be scooped up as an OC in a second. Just the way he talks seems like a weird leader, but maybe it works. I don't know. Lad McConkey, happy to see him back. Man, the Quentin Johnston people were like losing their effing mind, man. Thinking that QJ was straight up better. The whole time I thought it was the bicep injury for Lad. And I think the other thing is that the O-linemen are back. Of course, wide receivers, they're going to be a little variant, but QJ's not going to be a 0 every week when he runs routes. But I think he's just worse. And then, of course, Oronde Gadsden coming out of nowhere. And Keenan Allen is slowing down a little bit, which is wise, right? Like, why would you be having Keenan running a ton of routes in the regular season if you don't need him to be? Maybe you save those for the playoffs, right? Posture check. Yeah, man, I gotta go to the gym and stuff. If I wasn't picking, man, only 4 people picked the Chargers, who I view as a good team too. But if I was not picking the Falcons, like to me, it's between you pick the Falcons or you pick the Bengals, is what I would be doing. But there's going to be a lot of people who are just like, oh, no, I got to win. So I got to choose the Ravens. I got to choose the Bills. I got to choose the Chiefs against the Marcus Mariota-led Commanders. I doubt many people go Eagles after they lost with no A.J. Brown. Jalen Noel, yeah, he's a good shout. I added him in waivers in some spots. I mean, 120-point game's not a big deal, man. Oh, we get the Bijan pick here. Honestly, Bijan versus JT, I get the enthusiasm of it's Miami. We're going to do Bijan just because we chose Bijan in Survivor. But JT is probably, like, if I look up these guys in the Pick'em lobby and we just look at fantasy points, I'm going to guess Bijan, JT has a higher projection. 20.85 for Bijan. Taylor is at 20.95. So basically the same thing. And I think Bijan has not scored that many touchdowns. This doesn't show his season, but like compared to JT, he's not scored that many touchdowns. And so he's got to be due. He's also not as explosive as a runner as JT, though. I don't care about baseball at all, Steven. So, no, I'm not. Like, I don't root for the Sabres. I don't root for the Blue Jays. Yeah, I mean, you say this kind of stuff a lot, but, like, no offense, this is, like, straight up idiotic to use Carolina. No one's going to pick Carolina in Survivor, nor should they. But you got your comment highlighted, so there you go. My eliminator team has pretty much naked Herbert, so. And honestly, naked Herbert, a pretty good guy to have naked, because it can be Keenan 1 week, it can be Gadsden 1 week, it can be, especially with Gadsden. Like Gadsden, Aronde, dude, the people on Twitter are so dumb. They're like, oh, let me guess, you didn't draft any Gadsden. When I made a joke about, like, y'all just wait for Tyler Conklin. Clearly, Tyler Conklin's not going to be a thing. I drafted some. But someone was like, let me guess, you drafted no Gadsden. Dude, no one drafted Gadsden. I saw the hype this summer. I just didn't really, like you see hype for a lot of players. He was only drafted, I think, so 3,500 teams, 56,000, 3,500 times, 56,000 drafts. So I think 6.5% of the time Gadsden was drafted is what that works out to. So if you have Gadsden in Best Ball Mania, incredibly great, unique pick. But he's going to be almost never drafted in the Eliminator, This is Battle Royale here. Let's just go Josh Allen and just grab Kincaid right now. Get a little unique where we just sacrifice a normal pick there. This is the Dog Bowl. Sure. Ibuka for sure. And why not? Josh. It's all coming up, Josh. I think if there's a player, someone invariably drafted Gadsden a lot. Someone posted his exposures and he drafted Gadsden a lot. But he also, if you drafted a lot of Gadsden, you also drafted a lot of, someone, just get in the mindset of someone who drafted a lot of Gadsden. They probably also drafted a lot of terrible rookies. Jarquez Hunter, etc. Yeah, like that would be reasonable. Well, it's funny because, like, I did draft quite a bit of Keandre Lambert-Smith, and it's like so close, so close. And I drafted a decent amount of Tyler Conklin just because, like, Tyler Conklin's been like, 10 points per game. I mean, it's just like, it's terrible advice. So I'm like, if you're gonna give terrible advice, I'm gonna call it out. Like this is like the type of advice you make when it's not something you would actually do yourself. I do not believe if you had a Survivor team deep into the, like, at week 8 here, that you would pick the Panthers. You wouldn't, because no one is going to do that. It's like saying, like, oh, pick the Bears because the Ravens have lost some games. No one's going to do that. Okay, so we're allowed to just kind of go chalk here with us having here. Let's go Goddard. Let's go double tight end here. And we'll go Rome. Why not? Yeah, here we go. I said only 3,500 Oronde Gadsden teams rarely drafted valuable player. And this guy's like, I got a lot of Gadsden. Okay. He's also got a lot of Keaton. He's also got a lot of Tank. Noel's coming around. Kyle Williams, right? Like we know what a Gadsden drafter is. Demario Douglas, Jarquez Hunter. I would love to play a chess tournament this weekend, but I got stuff I got to do. So going to have to take care of that and play chess another weekend. Haven't been able to play that much recently. Life gets in the way. In my managed, would you play Keon versus Panthers or Mims versus Cowboys? Pretty easily Keon. I mean, I think I would pretty easily play Keon and not Mims. Can you guys hear that banging? Mims is like a... Okay, the Cowboys have given up a lot of deep receptions, so he's not a bad prayer. I think Keon's just a better prayer. Looks like we gotta go wide out here. Let's go Waddle. Get a little correlation there. Ooh. What the heck? Who did it take from me? Okay, it did take Waddle. That was weird. Oh, because I was the last person. Okay, now we can take our time in this dog bowl. Kittle goes. Kittle looked like a tackle kind of. This has got to be one of the lost dog bowls, right? Anyone know? Chad, you qualified, right? When is that? When's that draft, Chad? When's that trip? Probably do another dog bowl and get out of here. Okay. Yeah, I think Kamara's... Why not, man? He's got to have a good game eventually. It correlates with Igbuka. I've been a Waddle guy this year. I could have done Rico for some correlation here. Maybe I should have grabbed Kincaid. I don't know what's happening with tight ends. Thanks for the super chat back. With the current NFL injuries, what team has the best week 15-16 schedule? I was actually planning next week to go. I got one eliminator left. I was planning next week to kind of do a mini thing on this, kind of just like resetting and not 15-16, just focusing on week 17. Like with what we know today, what are the best week 17 games? But let's look at it real quick together. We got time. And obviously, injuries are going to change. For example, the Bills' defense will be healthier soon. Guys like Aaron Jones returned from injury, etc. Chris Godwin might return, right? Like that changes things. Okay. Tampa's schedule still looks very good. Looked good in the preseason, looks good now. Atlanta, a little bit tougher, but then Carolina, Miami, quite good. Buffalo, okay, the Pats will look a little bit better, but still, this is probably going to be a win for Buffalo. Cleveland, Cleveland's a good defense, but again, this is going to be a win where the Bills are just going to score points against these teams. Baltimore looks a little bit tougher. Atlanta, pretty decent schedule. Oh, I remember the Rams. Yeah, the Rams. Well, the Seahawks is a pretty good defense, and so is the Atlanta. So that looks a little bit tougher, but good offense beats defense. Let's see. Chargers. Chiefs. Tennessee. Dallas. Okay, so Minnesota's looking like a much worse defense. Let's look at Detroit. Rams, kind of tough, but then Pitt, mini. So Detroit's schedule looks very nutted. Rams is a good defense, but it's going to be in a dome. Pitt and Min, two bad Ds. Chicago. Dallas. Minnesota and Washington's pretty good. Washington, Giants and Cowboys and Philly's pretty good. Assuming Jaden Daniels is back. I mean, Miami's schedule looks awesome. Pitt, Cincinnati, and Tampa, but what will they be is a big question. So I'd probably go with Detroit. But yeah, we're going to talk about the the best week 17 matchups. We'll talk about more. Thoughts on Loveland? I mean, I'm playing him in some leagues. I think he's defensible to drafting this stuff as well. He's going to get the routes. Wow, the K. Dotton double. I think Ayuk, they said that they might open the 30-day practice or the 21-day practice window soon here. Okay, this guy is Lamar, so it's fine. But if you didn't have Lamar, taking Mark Andrews over Dalton Kincaid is just insane. With Lamar, obviously, it's fine. You want to stack. Goddard, obviously, in a great spot with no A.J. Brown. K. Dotton, kind of similar, but there's been injuries all year. He's not been putting it together. He has recently. Woody Marks is a decent scroll down in regular Battle Royale. Oh, nice man. I really thought he was going to do it to me. We get Kincaid, who obviously, I have to draft the tight end. Definitely wanted him. And then a ton of reasonable picks. I can go double tight end here. I can go Keon Shakir. This guy's like Noel. Well, let's do it. You know what? You asked about Loveland. This is his week. I think Carolina is 32nd DVOA against tight ends. Nice. We got another one to fill. So, yeah, picking from the 12 spot, not ideal, but Josh, Kamara, Ibuka, Waddle, Kincaid, and Loveland. Double tight end is going to be unique. Yeah, it's just like if you do not get the 1, 2, or 3 hole, really, if you do not get JT, Bijan, CMC, Achan, Cook, Saquon, who gets a boost too, like I wouldn't be like, oh my God. The running back is just significantly worse you're going to get. It'd be nice if they made these like 15-second clocks. Like, give us 2 options. Make one for the multi-drafters and make one for people who are trying to single draft. We're going to tweet that. I guess not. Got some random abs on Twitter. Nice. Well, depends. You only need one roster, man. You only need one team. I mean, Houston's defense is pretty good. I think they give up a lot of catches against the Pat. The thing is, if CMC is not catching the ball, he's not being an efficient runner. You're good, man. It's an impromptu Friday night stream. Probably our last draft here. Yeah, I'll probably play him on like a DFS entry, Mr. Kittle. The Mike Evans injury is such a gut punch. I have so many teams who are like pretty good or like they're like 30, 40 points back. They have Mike Evans. He looked great. Sucks for him as well, of course. Hard to say who it sucks more for, me or Mike Evans. Totally kidding. I'm tired. Yeah, I definitely don't love all my teams, but quite a bit of my teams feel quite complete. Oh man, that stinks not to get Lamb. We're doing Ibuka again? Okay. How did we get Ibuka last time? Who were these people taking? They were taking Rashad White, I guess. I'm advancing like the normal 25 right now, but that might pick up with my guys post buy. Might get to like 30 or something. I have too many teams that have big injuries. Like so many, because I drafted so much Reed, Kittle, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans. I have a lot of teams that have multiples of this, I got some good Burrow teams. Run it back. Why not? Make your sweats pure. I do prefer Cook to Josh if I had to choose one, but Josh is live to smash. Smith would have been a good pick too with the news. Didn't really think that over. Yeah, he's a good pick. Good pick by Lee here. Good pick, Lee. Guess we'll do a regular battle royale since this is gonna take so dang long. You got Steven. Well, I think what happened on Twitter is I called Fantasy Receipts an idiot or a loser account because it is. It's an anonymous loser account. And a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, you're soft for thinking that. Like, you got to be able to laugh at your bad takes. It has really nothing to do with me. If you look at the responses to Fantasy Receipts, they're almost invariably like filled with like MAGA loser trolls talking about insane stuff, right? Or like people that are miserable, like, yes, you got to hold these fantasy people accountable. What does that even mean, man? Like, half these people are just guys tweeting. They don't even do fantasy for a job. So it's really people who are jealous that someone does fantasy football for a job and they want them accountable. It's just like it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that tweet was more inspired because Davis was getting hate, and I saw him talking about it. Was Davis tweeted something about it was like a bad take on trading Jamar Chase, but then the thing meaning the bet meaningfully changed for like Jamar Chase with Jake Browning might not have worked out. And newsflash, the bet like meaningfully changed when Joe Flacco landed there, which no one could have foreseen. No, like there's also a lot of like bots. I think like Twitter is full of people who are bots that just like are supposed to spread hate or whatever. And yeah, like it's a reminder that like, at least 50% of people are dumber than you could imagine, right? Like just how math works there. So they either don't understand anything or they do and they're just being disingenuous and they're miserable. And like if you look, sometimes I look at like the replies at like people who just say wild things to me. And of course they're just saying like wild things everywhere, So I don't let it get to me. Next week, I can't imagine starting Flacco over Caleb, but I don't know. Maybe in another week of Flacco magic, I'll reevaluate. There's just a lot of like jealousy, low mental health going on Twitter, and Twitter is like it's a shitty app. Since Elon took over, it's a pretty terrible app. It's the only one I really use for news and to notify that I go live. But like, I don't even like. I tweet very few quote unquote takes on Twitter. Why? Because like things I believe, I typically don't want to just share for free. I'm not like a Twitter aggregator trying to get big there, right? So I don't care if you're gonna like quote tweet the like one or two things I do tweet that ends up being wrong. Like I mostly try to tweet for discussion. Oh, yeah, look, man, Flacco's fun, but like I think Caleb Williams runs. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know the week 9 schedule, Brayman. Unless Caleb's matchup stinks, I would probably be firmly Caleb there. Getting CMC and Cook is fun. Throwing a little Lamar. Oh, then for sure, Caleb versus the Bengals. I think the jury's still out on what Caleb is, but most weeks he'll be around 20 points. And Flacco it's all passing production. So that has a pretty low floor. And Flacco could be like, remember that guy in a couple weeks, you know? This is the dog bowl. Let's do Woody Marks. Let's go Zay with Lamar. Yeah, we'll go the Ferg dad. Why not? Waddle was reasonable there too, but don't want to be so similar to our last one. Let's go Goddard here. I like the Wandale pick. Lower drafted, mini correlation with Goddard. Why not? It's jarring to go from these battle royales to the dog bowl. I didn't do that many battle royales last week, and I think I did like 10 or so. I had one team that was quite live. It was a Hurts Devonta team. Ended up getting killed was I think the Herbert stuff went crazy, but like it was live to win. Here, we'll look at the results. I think that shows. Not many thoughts. I mean, I had heard about this, or what was going on a while ago. We did 12 drafts last week. Yeah, it ended up crashing and burning, but it was live for at the end of the 1 p.m. slot, it was super live. Hurts, Judkins, Rice, Smith, and then it had Jakrowski, Merritt, and Warren to go. So basically, if like Merritt had scored 20, which he was super chalk last week, it was live to win, assuming no other game went off. Like 20 would have put it at 137. Now, games went off. So, like, specifically this Bo Nix stuff, man, him getting like 40 points in the fourth quarter. And Trey McBride had some garbage time. Like, yeah, it was. So, that's the NFL for you, though. Yeah, all I knew was getting a running back here was going to be essential because, like, Tyler Algier comes at you fast. Not many thoughts other than, you see some of these calls in the NFL sometime and you're like, really? So, it's not that surprising. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Steven. Man, I'm not gonna lie. This is like pulling teeth sometimes, waiting for these. I'm surprised I've been live an hour. This thing flew. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, join the Discord links below if you want to see more of these. If you're watching this later, I hope you're watching it on like 2x speed. Let's rip the Kincaid double for the dog bowl. He's going to get lost in the shuffle with, you know, Kittle, Goddard. There's really no big reason why like Goddard should go a full round ahead of him. Flat out been awesome this year. You know, there is a very, very, very small chance he doesn't play. I would be pretty shocked, but like I guess it's possible. All right, and then I think we'll double this one up. We'll grab, maybe we'll do Keon or Shakir. I think with Kincaid, we'd rather go Keon. Are we gonna double? You know what? No, let's go the Moondog. These people just throw guys in the queue and leave, you know? Makes a terrible streaming experience. Moondog. All right, ladies and gentlemen, peace out. I'll write up a couple thoughts on the site or for the slate in the morning for the subs. Anything I didn't say here. Good luck this weekend.